So welcome back everyone. Today we're going to do a video about passive income. It's a little different from the videos that I usually do, which are about swing and stock trades. But I think it's going to be important to actually see what I actually do with the amount of money or any profits that I make from my stocks. Although I am a swing and a day trader, I also love passive income. And I mean, it's very little income that requires it's a lot of income that requires little to no effort at all. So it's something that I'm very passionate about. I mean, who doesn't love making money while doing nothing? Essentially, what you're looking at here is my Blockfi account with an amount of currently $30,000. But before we get into the benefits and the features that Blockfi has, I actually wanted to talk about the definition of passive income. Passive income is an income that requires no effort to earn and maintain. It is called progressive passive income when the earner expends little effort to grow the income. Examples, of course, include rental properties, stocks, dividends, anything at all that requires no effort from the person that initiated it. And that's what I love about this type of income, is that you get to create it a couple times, or it takes very little to maintain. And at that time it keeps growing, and you keep getting your reward, which is of course doing no effort to earn that amount of income. Recently, even the top 10 richest man, Warren Buffett. I'm sure everybody's familiar with him. He's a great dividend investor, which has a simple form of investing. Essentially, is index investing, which would be a video that I should be doing soon. He has said that if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will die. You will work until you die, or you will die while working. It's essentially the same thing. Now, for what I'm showing you today, this is Blockfi. Blockfi is an exchange. You can almost call it a crypto type of platform, where it allows you to earn interest on top of, let's say, earning capital on your crypto, which lately has done nothing but increase and increase. So if you're one of those people that has any crypto sitting on a Robinhood account, or sitting with any other exchange that doesn't pay you interest, I think that you should seriously consider switching over to Blockfi because of the benefits. I don't own any crypto anymore. I did own some at a certain point. I had a pretty substantial. I had a pretty good amount of it, and it was going pretty well. But it's just so volatile that I decided, you know what, I prefer just trading the miners instead of having. Maybe I'll change my mind again and add just a tiny fraction whenever I experience a big pullback. But as of now, I own essentially almost nothing. I own 42 cents in Bitcoin, and I own 47 cents in Ethereum. And of course, for USD, which it's the dollar, the US dollar, it's converted in their platform to GUSD. So now you can see the balance of 29,999. From this account, I'm actually earning $215 a month. That's after me just recently switching it. You can see here the numbers of 8.6%. Of $38,000 is $2,800. If you divide that by 12, which is the month, how many months are in a year, you'll get $215. Now, I recently just added that amount to the Blockfi account, so the payments this month should be a little bit different than the usual amount. But if you look at my first payment, which was back in March. In March 31st, I received a nice payment of $122. You can see it here as GUSD, which is, of course, their coin, but essentially they just mean it's dollars. And since then, you can see my other deposits, which I try to deposit in the number of thousands to keep things more organized, and I can see exactly how many. If you can see, there's a couple of tiny deposits, which is usually when I'm trying to make the numbers even. But I soon hope to grow this account to maybe an $170,000 account, where I have a nice substantial amount of income coming from there, and then soon make a dividend portfolio where I can just keep my assets diversified. That way I don't have too much of reliance on BlockFi, or I'll have too much of reliance on any other parts of my income. Soon, when I feel like this account has reached its maximum, where I'm not going to put anything anymore, and I'll be living up the income, or I'll just keep letting it multiply, I'll just move and create my own, create another dividend portfolio, which is also coming soon. But as of right now, I have found no reason to create the portfolio. So for the purposes of creating continuous income, I chose BlockFi because I liked, of course, the interest, and I also liked how essentially they make their money, and how they take care of their customers and their clients. So when I called, before going into this, I wanted to make sure that BlockFi was a trustworthy platform. Of course, that's what you want to know. Paying such a high interest rate, there must be something hidden, and essentially there is. You're taking a risk. There's always going to be risk to any type of investment that you make, because I mean, if there wasn't any risk, then of course everybody would do it. So this was on February 19th, as you can see here. I was asking normal questions that I was concerned about, because the website, though, did explain it. I wanted to hear more from one of the customer members. I was talking to a guy named BJ at BlockFi. You can see here all the details. But this is not important. These are just normal questions that I ask. Can you withdraw funds at any time? Will my balance fluctuate? It will not, unless you're holding any cryptocurrency. If you just hold GUSD, which is pegged to the dollar, is essentially $1. You won't have any fluctuating at all. Of course, the only thing you'll have is added on payments from the interest. So there's nothing to be concerned about there. So remember, BlockFi is not insured by the FDIC because they're essentially just digital assets. So there's essentially no way to have them tender. So essentially, there's not much. It's not backed by any federal government agency. It's not essentially a bank account. It's an account of the sort, but it's just not a bank account. It's essentially just digital assets where you take enough risk and they reward you. Essentially, what the bank does with your money now, except it's sitting there. So here are the questions that I finally asked. This is where I get interest. I wanted to ask, if I were to deposit 100K, which was a pretty amount of my money, and I wanted to put it there so I could earn $700 a month. If I were to deposit 100K, I would earn 8.6% interest, which is $8,600 a year, $717 a month. Unless the interest is compounded every month, that 100K is lent out to other financial institutions at a higher interest rate, which allows you guys to keep the spread. I believe BlockFi also has margin calls in the case of one of the institution does run into some sort of issue with liquidity. Can I also withdraw the cash at any time? Please advise if this is accurate. And I was a little confused too at the time. I was asking, is the dollar pegged to the DY index, which is the United States dollar index? Because I have so many questions. So obviously it's not. It's $1 is essentially $1 on their platform. I just wanted to make sure everything was fine, because I was fully trying to understand, and there's not a lot of videos on BlockFi of exactly how it works. Now here's the response from the customer service. Stablecoin is currently earning 8.6% APY, accruing daily, compounding monthly. You can find most of the rates on the website. If you wanna go ahead and look at that, I will attach the link at the bottom. When we lend crypto assets to generate yield, we have an extremely thorough risk management and credit analysis process. We primarily lend to large, well-capitalized institutional borrowers or to counterparties willing to post collateral and provide the ability to margin call them on a daily basis. And this right here, this entire paragraph that the customer service responded to me was the thing that finally got me bought on BlockFi. So what they're saying is that they're insured, that they go through a long process of risk management and credit analysis. They lend to large companies or large institutions that have enough money or cash or collateral, whatever it is, property, most likely. I'm guessing that's cash, and that BlockFi has the ability to margin call them on a daily basis. So that's great. If they can call over if anything is going on the block on their end with the borrower, whether the person that they lend the money to, that person does not want to pay back, they can call them on a daily basis to make sure that they have those collaterals and that everything essentially is fine. Let's say, and here's a great example that he provided me. Let's say if they're lending $1 million of Bitcoin to firm XYZ, just a random firm, the firm XYZ collateralizes the loan typically 115%, giving us $1.15 million. If the loan were then to enter in a margin and the borrower refused to return the crypto to the default, we have enough USD to buy back the amount of crypto. BlockFi is bound by NDAs to discuss terms of the specific borrowers and rates. So essentially, they're saying that if they were to lend $1 million worth of crypto to a firm or another customers, they would be able to collateralize the loan, typically at 150%, essentially meaning that they have enough cash to cover any of those type of mishaps. So they won't be able to give more money that they don't have. So all the assets have to be there, meaning that all the assets that are being borrowed, there has to be enough money from BlockFi to collateralize those, meaning that though yes, we do not get all the information because BlockFi is not a public company. Maybe soon they will be, so we can get all those numbers and we can see how much cash on hand they have. They won't lend more money than they don't have. That's not a deal that's the thing that they're not going to do, and that's what really bought me into getting this BlockFi portfolio and finally understanding and putting that amount. That 30,000 currently is it's kind of almost a big amount of all the cash that I have, not of my net worth, but just mostly the cash that I have. The institutions that they lend to also make a tiny fraction the institutions that they lend to, crypto makes a tiny fraction of their overall balance sheet. To get the idea of the type of institution, you can go on the website, look at those type of institutions. And also, one key thing to notice here is during the crash, the 2020 March crash, they had zero losses across the lending books. So that means that all other people that they were lending to were well capitalized. Nobody defaulted. Everything just went completely fine. And that was, and of course, the March crash was almost a 50% move for the indexes. We saw the Dow go from 30 to 17, S&P go from 2,500 to 1,800, something like that. So that was great. That means they had no issues, meaning if there were to be another crash or any type of thing, meaning that they will probably not have an issue going forward. Also, in terms of case of borrowed default interest, account holders sit at the top of our capital stack, and will be made whole first in the event of any default. Meaning that if BlockFi ever goes bankrupt, their account holders, which are the ones that have the interest accounts, will be the first ones to get any of the cash when the company is finally liquid. Meaning, if they ever go bankrupt, all the assets, everything will be used to first pay back all the interest or all the interest account holders in case in case they do go bankrupt. Meaning that you're essentially it's kind of like being a shareholder of the acceptance. Instead of being put at last, you get to be put at the front. So meaning you're gonna get most of the money. Then it goes to paying the debts, then it goes to any other investors, then it goes to whoever sits at the bottom. But essentially, they're saying that our account holders or clients, customers, they get taken care of first, meaning you'll be the first ones to get your money in case of any asset liquidation, which I doubt will happen soon because BlockFi recently just had a funding, and hopefully maybe soon they'll go public, so I can feel more comfortable and see more of the company's financials. But as of now, I feel pretty comfortable with this and how they responded to me with that response. And those were all my questions that I essentially had for them. Now, I have been using BlockFi for about a month for now. I just got the first payment. The next payment should be around $200. I will keep you guys posted on how it goes and any other information that I learn about BlockFi. But to me, I feel that this is a safe investment. And if you guys did like it, you can look at the link. I left the link below. If you want to sign up, you'll get 100 or $200 depending on how much you deposit into the account. As always, thank you guys for watching, and you have a great day.